Hey, just popping in. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing this morning? It is episode number 18 with Breakfast with Ben and Cheryl.
Yes.
I'm feeling good this morning.
I am too. It's a good day.
Good day.
It was nice and it was an exciting weekend. It's just been a really good start to the new year, and I just love all the energy, all this new, let's go get stuff done energy. Love it.
I am with that. Like, I feel like last week threw me for a loop because of...
It's like half week.
Yeah, I was ready to hit the ground running on Monday, and everybody's like, nope, still taking the time off. So, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready. And today we're just talking about how to get started.
How to get started, because I bet there are some of you that have made goals and already kind of like, it's a little too difficult.
I'm gonna hit the gym in February because right now the first, it's really busy.
Because there's so many people,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be that guy. I don't know.
You want to go ahead and start us off with our quote this week?
Yes. Start where you are, do what you can, and use what you have. Arthur Ashe. And that is so true.
I think, quick side note, I think this especially is for the creatives.
Oh, yes.
Because I know in the camera and photography and videography world, I need the latest equipment, and I got to get the latest 4K. Things are doing 6K now. And I was kind of fell victim a little bit to that, but you got to get out there and start.
Yes.
My first real estate video, we did a homemade stabilizer. We went and got some galvanized pipe and a weight and tried to balance it. I mean, it worked, ish.
But we did it. Yes. You just do it and you put it out there, and that's the only thing that gets you moving forward is doing it.
Absolutely. So just start, and that's today, and that's where and that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today, and how the different ways that we get started.
Right.
Because we are very different in that how versed we are.
Yes. Okay. So you've planned and planned and planned, and now you don't know where to start. It's just, well, which do I do first? Well, I need this. Is that whole thing.
Yeah, I got to do my research.
Right. And I know you and I are both different in how we handle motivation and how to get things done. And what gets you motivated to get started?
I have to put it down on a list.
Yes.
And I know it seems silly in regards to no matter how simple that list is, mm-hmm. I need to see it on a list. So, my recommendation, if you're having trouble getting started, number one item, create a checklist. And go ahead and just knock that out, and then start putting, all right, I'm going to make my checklist, and then I got to go to the bank, and then I got to go to the post office, and I got to do this. But I'm telling you, there is something actually psychologically driven with checking items off a list and crossing that number one off. I made my list. That's going to motivate you to go to number two. What?
No, because it's so funny, because I operate so different.
Oh, okay. I'm like, am I drawing something that is on... I didn't know she was like CJGI. Anyway. And so we looked into this a little bit about... You've heard that, you always feel better when you check items off. And that's why it feels better to write a list as opposed to just having a checklist on your computer. It's not as satisfying as... Man, words are tough this morning. Satisfying to click that mouse. And, you want to check off those items. But to go into the research side of it, this goes back to an experiment done in the 1920s where a scientist would interrupt people in the middle of doing a task and then ask them to recall the task they were doing. I'm summarizing here. But essentially, when people weren't allowed to write down what they were doing, if they were allowed to finish the task they were previously working on, they remembered the task later better. because it freed up the space in their mind to have that task done. But if they were interrupted mid-task, then their performance on the next one was worse. And so they just checking stuff off and clearing it out of your mental capacity, kind of like the brain dump a few weeks ago.
Right.
Just getting it out of there actually does help you perform better.
Yes. And my lists are different. I create the big lists. I do the brain dumps and stuff. But then making a to-do list and make a list is so counterproductive in my mind, because then I'm wasting time by making a list and writing this down. It's not efficient for me. So that doesn't motivate me. That just overwhelms me. And that's how we're so different. That's why we work so well together.
Yeah.
So my motivation is all intangible stuff, emotional driven, motivational quotes. I listen to Darren Hardy does a little daily thing every day.
Email, right? Comes right into your email box.
It's just like a little pick me up, something that you can attribute to the day, and just, okay, that's something that I can focus on today, and everything that falls in today, you just fall into that theme.
Isn't it amazing how that works, though? You kind of set yourself up. You set that theme for the day.
I love it.
And so, that to even go to the basic level of starting the day off right, that's you're starting the day with a theme.
Right.
And that theme is, positivity, giving back, making sure you appreciate the people that help you achieve those things.
Right.
But if you start off the day with, great, now I got to go deal with Susie here in the office, she's not wanting to deal, and you already have that perception of the day or the task.
Yes.
How productive are you going to really be?
Yep. So, I need the emotional push, a daily reminder, quote, affirmations, quiet space.
Well,
sometimes.
that's, you start your day with that zen. And that's important. That's super important that everybody finds that time to start your day. Whether that means you got to get up a half an hour earlier so you can just go sit in quiet for half an hour.
Right.
Then do it. It's worth that peace of mind. Because, you start the day, you roll out of bed late. Oh my gosh, everything goes wrong that day.
Yes.
But another day.
1 hour of focus time equals 4 hours of unfocused time.
Yeah.
So if you can be focused, you can get a lot done in a very short amount of time. And free up your other time for other things.
A good friend of ours said, motivation is a lot like exercise. It's required daily.
Oh, yes.
And that's very true. And it's whatever that motivation is.
Have to exercise the mind. Good morning to Realty Masters and to our team member, Rez.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining me.
Good morning.
Always great to see y'all.
I like that they like lists too.
What? Hey, there's something proven. I love that whiteboard. We talked about it I think last week, but that's my jam right now.
I like the big picture lists, like the big goals. I don't like all the steps. I just like to see the goals where they're at and just have that as a list that I can check off big items.
Yeah, and I like working the smaller pieces of the puzzle and putting, all right, how do we get that talking to that?
Yeah.
How do we get it to automate or whatever that is? I really enjoy that. So.
But it's really great. Everyone gets motivated differently, and did we talk about that in the one to where it's I can see the tippy top of the mountain, but the whole mountain is covered by fog. Yeah. And yours is opposite. The whole tippy top of the mountain is covered by fog, but you can see the mountain clearly. Yep. And you see the path to get up there.
I got eyes on the path, and I'm just all right, it's up there. I'm trusting that. But that's what team. Right. That's what a team does. Yes. It's not. You got to be open and honest about that stuff.
Yeah. So. It can be difficult sometimes.
All right, but we got getting started. All right.
Yeah, just to get started. It's just getting going and doing whatever makes you feel good. What motivates you? Everyone's motivated by different stuff.
And I really encourage you, if you're, you've planned it to death, you've executed it to a T, and you're just waiting for that perfect time to start, it's now. It was yesterday. Like, I mean, to light a fire up under your butt, just put yourself out there. I mean, when you listen to the motivational stuff, and you just got to start. Read a magazine article a day, or make that, reach out and send a Facebook message to a potential contact, or whatever it is. If you did more than you do yesterday, it's gonna lead to success. So if you're having trouble, make that list. If your mind works like that, as a guy, I kind of put just stuff in boxes. So once I cross that item off, I've closed up that box and I'm on to the next one. Or if you're more of the visionary and you want to see, I liked how you phrased it last week. Where do I want to be at the end of 2017?
Yes.
And to go farther than that, of course, you need to have a larger goal. Mm-hmm. But you gotta just start and go.
Yes.
Just go.
Just go. And that also, and I know I'm jumping ahead to our resources, but I listened to a podcast this week on Hidden Brain. Hidden Brain's an NPR podcast, and it's fantastic. It's called Getting Unstuck, episode number 56. And it talks about people not being or feeling fulfillment. What am I going to do? What am I meant to do? Some people think that there's only one purpose in life, when some people think that there's many purposes in one person's life. It just depends on which path you go down and what you want to do and what you choose to do and where you are in certain time periods of your life. And one of the suggestions was, if you're stuck, write down your ideal life and what you see yourself. I think we did this mentally, verbally, we did this exercise. And what would you, in an ideal world, if you had all the means, all the education, had the talent, had everything, what would you do? Okay, if that wasn't possible, what was the next thing that you would do? And then list 3 things of things that you would do, or what you would want to do, or who you would want to become. And start working it from that. It starts to open up possibilities that you may not have realized before if you actually work into that exercise, not be held back by, oh, that's dumb, because that's what I do. Oh, that sounds stupid. No, nobody's going to do that. I think all those kind of things.
But people do that every day.
Right. But that'll help get things to see, well, yeah, I could start doing that now. I could do that on the side. I could do that for 2 hours a day or 4 hours a week, or and just to see where things go and meet other people. And it's really amazing. If you want to listen to that podcast, it's really great.
But almost kind of writing a new character for yourself.
Right.
I do want to go whitewater rafting. I'm gonna go.
And who said? And then you can start asking yourself, who says I can't be these things? When you say, what says I cannot be this? Why can I not do that?
All up here.
It is.
It's incredible how it holds you back. But on to the post show.
Well, that was part of the post show.
I know. Well, I gotta give the official segue.
Oh,
see, you missed
okay.
that. She missed that cue card that somebody didn't hold up.
Good job.
But this is where we talk about our wins and losses of the week.
Yes.
How we kind of overcame that, as well as share a resource of something that we really learned, and that was a great segue.
Yes.
So, what did you have going on this week?
Oh, you start.
Oh no! Just because my name comes first doesn't mean I start.
One of my goals is to visit a lot of the local parks and stuff, because I don't, even being a local here in Pensacola, I don't visit a whole bunch of state parks, national parks. I do the National Seashore for the beach and stuff, but I just haven't explored local parks and went hiking trails and that kind of thing. So I went on a little hike trail this last weekend, and it was really nice and really relaxing, albeit chilly. Totally worth it though. It was gorgeous. So that was my win. It was just felt good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I got to shoot some new projects this weekend as well. Some stuff I haven't had an opportunity to do. Some people I've been able to come to know in the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Become really good friends. Asked me to join on a music video shoot over this weekend.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cheryl joined on that one as well. So that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how that turned out.
Yeah.
As well as, I think my big thing was, Cheryl and I looking at 2017 and making sure that we are growing right.
Yes.
And, took some big steps in getting us prepared this year, and I'm really excited to see what that is going to bring in 2017 and some of the decisions we made. While it's a bigger financial obligation, I'm really excited about what that can mean, because I feel like that's going to be where we're going to be.
Right.
And I'm really excited for 2017.
Yes.
I don't want to say too much right at the moment.
Yes. So, what you been struggling with this week?
You think you know it until you don't know it. If you guys have been tuning in for the last couple of weeks, you've heard me talking about CRMs and being in CRM hell. And last week we decided on Insightly. And I think this week we undecided on Insightly. Yesterday we had our company mind meeting, and we were really breaking down the process of how we want this to automate.
Setting up the pipelines like you're supposed to.
Yeah, and we have workflows in our current CRM, but they're not as automated, and if we're going to be able to scale like we want to, we need to make sure that we're growing to that level. And while I really liked what Insightly offered, I felt like we were going to spend more time trying to come up with workarounds just because we're so boutique.
Right.
That it wasn't really efficient. So we broke it down, and it was like a 10-hour day yesterday, just going through.
It was a long day. It was mind melting.
Going through that process, but I at 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm like, I'm feeling good. Like, let's keep going, because while it's tiring, it feels so good because it's ours, and to see that process visually, and the choice I think we're going with on how that's going to be able to work in our business is just really exciting. So I'll be keeping you guys more up to date. Let me know if you guys are interested in learning more about that process, and I'll definitely kind of keep you guys in learning.
Do you not want to mention what we're using in case other people have used it and they have recommendations or struggles that they have with it that they could share?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we are on Tave.
Yes.
We're looking at Tave. It's more of a photography based CRM, but some of the automation is fantastic.
Yes.
So photographers, videographers, if you have any recommendations or tips that I might need to know as a new Tave user, I would super appreciate that. But what we've seen so far, we're really enjoying, and we're just going to keep going with that process. Go with that.
Yes.
Oh, battery died.
Battery died.
Charge batteries. ABC. Always be charging.
Always be charging. Tip for photographers and videographers.
That one's
there
free.
You go.
So to kind of segue back into your podcast, we've had some people reach out to us.
Oh yes.
And mention, I haven't written down for you.
I know.
We've had some people reach out and mention that a podcast might be a little bit more beneficial in terms of us switching to a podcast style format. While we would still be running a camera and recording our podcast scenes, we wouldn't be going live anymore, and the podcast would be up on a weekly basis. We might have an opportunity to go a little bit longer on a podcast, which I think would be nice. But we want to hear from you guys, and that's where we're kind of reaching out to the fans and everything. So if you'd like to see us kind of switch into a podcast format, that'd be great, because then we could download it on the go.
Let us know.
Please comment below, send us a message. You can reach us on Facebook as well.
Yes.
We want to close us out with our
next week's episode, importance of a CRM.
Well, and
we will go over some of the things that we've learned about searching for a CRM.
Well, and even what that means,
yes.
and what that can do for you, and how automation and management like that can really just help you be more efficient in what you're doing. So.
And not just in a Excel spreadsheet.
Hey, we all started there.
Yes,
don't think you were alone. So, the importance of a CRM is next week.
Yes.
So, to close us out, start where you are, do what you can, and use what you have. Just go. Just get out there and do it. Start that list. Write that checklist. Make that mind map. Yep. Whatever that is that you need to get going, just go, because people are waiting out there for you to help them out, and it's up to you to go out there and take that opportunity. Don't be looking at the vanity of like, oh, I'm going to be embarrassed if they say no. Okay, well, I just need to make sure that I'm going out there and I'm helping everybody that I can, and that's what to take away from it is, who can I help today?
Yeah, be a people pleaser. Don't be selfish.
Yeah.
Because that's what it ends up being, really.
All right, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in with us this week. We will see you next Tuesday. Let us know about the podcast idea. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We might just kind of go with that and see. You might do 1 or 2 episodes, see how that goes as well. So, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. for episode number 19 of Breakfast with Ben and Cheryl.
Yes.
Food
for thought.
Your weekly food for thought.
Weekly.
Have a good week.
Bye.
We will see you next time.